Welcome to Let's Go There, a podcast featuring a group of women with a wide range of life experiences in dealing with everyday challenges. We hope you will enjoy this episode.
Hello, this is Pastor Hadassah, and I'm so honored and privileged to be coming to you to talk on the topic soul ties, godly or ungodly. This is a 4-part series. We have completed parts 1 and 2. And today we'll be looking at part 3 on the symptoms of ungodly soul ties. We have already established what an ungodly soul tie is, or a soul tie that is unhealthy. This could be characterized by manipulation, by abuse, by domination. And I would like to look more closely at some of those symptoms. Now, if you are obsessively preoccupied with another person or a situation, that can be classified as an ungodly soul tie, especially if your obsession is to the neglect of the things of God. All you can think about is that person. All you can think about is that situation. You wake up thinking of that person. You go to bed thinking of that person. You're dreaming about that person, completely obsessive about that person. That is an ungodly soul tie. An ungodly soul tie as well can be a tendency to be passive or apathetic in a relationship. What do I mean by that? Where in a relationship you can be easily manipulated. You don't stand up for yourself. You feel as if what you have to say isn't worth it. And everybody else, they've got more to say than you have. And there is this inability to stand up, particularly when you've been bullied. This tendency to be passive and apathetic. There's also a tendency to be domineering or controlling in a relationship. That is a symptom of an ungodly soul tie. Well, hear this. God did not make us to be dominated or to be domineering. In fact, we have been told in Genesis 1 verse 26, it reads, "And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." So, if you are domineering and controlling in a relationship, you have not been given that right from God. You have not been given that privilege from God. God did not make man to dominate another man. God made man and gave him dominion over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air, the cattle, and over the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. If you find yourself in a relationship where you have the tendency to be domineering and controlling, your way or no way, I remember someone saying, you either D-O or you G-O. People hearing these things in relationships and they feel they can't say anything back. They're being controlled. That is a symptom of an ungodly soul tie. Another symptom of an ungodly soul tie is when you hear like a person's voice playing over and over and over in your mind, like a tape recorder. You can't shut it off. You're going to hear the taunting. You hear the words that are being said. Words are powerful. In fact, God used the spoken word to create the world. If you look in Genesis chapter 1, from verse 1 to verse 11, it says, "And God said, and God said, and God said, and there was." Whatever God said came into existence. And God said in verse 3, let there be light, and there was light. And in verse 6, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God said in verse 9, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. God said, and it happened. Words are important. They are powerful. Wedding ceremonies, vows are exchanged. Words are used for the vows that are exchanged. In fact, in Proverbs 18 verse 21, it tells us that death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. When we speak, we either speak life or we speak death. Life when we speak words of love and encouragement and words to help people. Death when we criticize them and put them down by being malicious with our words and making them feel that they're nobodies, being manipulated and trampled on. In fact, in Proverbs 6 verse 2, it says, thou art snared with the words of thy mouth. Now, a snare is a trap, a hook, or a plan. That's a snare. It's a trap, a hook, or a plan. And ungodly soul tie can be characterized by people saying words that have ensnared them. So we can ensnare ourselves, the words that we say to ourselves or the words that we say to other people. Ties are formed by the words of our mouth. For example, somebody might say, I can never get you out of my head. I can never get you out of my heart. I will never stop loving you. Nobody will ever take your place in my life. Nobody else wants you. You're no good. Look at you. Such words. Ungodly soul ties. Bringing about the bondage that is difficult to unravel from. Other patterns or symptoms of ungodly soul ties are patterns of anger, blame, and accusations in a relationship. Are you in a relationship where it's just anger and blame or accusations? Well, we know where accusations come from. It's the devil who accuses the brethren day and night. So if you find yourself in a relationship where it's just accusations being thrown at you all the time, it is ungodly. It is not of God. And we have to take authority over those words or over those actions or over those accusations. Another symptom of ungodly soul tie is a fear of being real. Being real with yourself, speaking truth, feeling intimidated, fear of man, not wanting to speak up, not wanting to say anything, just in case somebody looks at you or puts you down or thinks that what you say have no merit. That is not of God. I'd like to ask you this question. What have been some of the words that have been spoken over you at home, at school, in the church, in society, from your peers, from your teammates, from your husband or wife, from the one who promises to love you and yet speaks words that puts you down all the time? There are some side effects of ungodly soul ties. When one is tied to the wrong person, certain side effects are observed. For example, lack of peace in a relationship, the obsessive preoccupation with another, a tendency to be domineering and controlling. God wants the best for you. And the best is not to be manipulated or controlled or dominated by man. If you are in a relationship where any of these patterns have emerged, or they are the things that you're living with day by day, I want you to know you can be free of that. Jesus came to set the captives free. And he will set you free. All you have to do is ask him to do so. Well, my time is up. I'm out of time, but I'm not out of words. And so I'm looking forward to doing part 4 with you. And in part 4, we'll be looking at how to break ungodly soul ties to be set free, because whom the Son sets free is free indeed. Until then, this is Pastor Hadassah wishing you God's peace. Shalom. Nothing missing, nothing broken.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you found it inspiring and insightful. If you have been affected by any of the issues raised today, feel free to contact the Association of Christian Counselors in your area. For more information about our ministry, please visit ntcg.org.uk/WDM.